Victoria Falls Town, the tourist capital of Zimbabwe, was a hive of activity from 26th April to 28th April 2023. Victoria Falls Town, which borders Zambia's tourist capital Livingstone, was host to dignitaries from more than 80 countries who came to participate at the 60th edition of the Transform Africa Summit at the Elephant Hills Resort. The Transform Africa Summit is Africa's leading annual forum that brings together leaders from government, business, and international organizations to collaborate on new ways of shaping, accelerating, and sustaining Africa's ongoing digital revolutions. The 2023 Transform Africa Summit focused on looking at practical ways of advancing commitments of transforming Africa into a digitized economy where technology is harnessed to fully reap the benefits of integration. The summit was held under the theme Connect, Innovate, and Transform. Zambia's advanced team to the summit included Minister of Technology and Science, Felix Mutati.
This summit comes at the right time. At the right time from the perspective that we have finished and completed our digital strategy. When you look at our digital strategy that drives the transformation of the economy and what we are hearing so far from Smart Africa, we are totally aligned. So from a direction and purpose perspective, we are totally aligned. Now, what do we want at the end of the day? Some of the specifics that we're looking forward as takeaways from a Zambia perspective is number one. One of the biggest challenges that we've got from the Zambian perspective is that in order to achieve the transformation that you want, you need to lift up your digital literacy. At the moment, our digital literacy is at 34%. So you cannot arrive at transformation unless you have strategies that are going to lift. So we're here to learn, collaborate, and share experiences on how our friends have crossed the 50% mark.
On 26th April 2023, President Hakainde Hichilema joined other heads of state and government at the official opening of the summit. President Hichilema was among other government leaders that attended the 60th edition of the Transform Africa Summit, who included King Mswati III of Eswatini, Paul Kagame of Rwanda, Lazarus Chakwera of Malawi, and the host president, Emmerson Mnangagwa. On the presidential engagements was the tour of exhibition stands which showcased Africa's various technological advancements. Some of the showcased technologies at the summit were from young Zimbabweans who have developed an application that scans and identifies diseases in crops and is helping farmers to make quick and sound decisions.
We do crop disease identification, classification, diagnosis, and recommendations. So we've here with us our mobile app at both Android and iOS. So what we do is here within the context of Zimbabwe, most of our agriculture-based farmers are in the rural areas where there is limited access to internet. So what we did is we built this Crop Doctor app, which gives farmers access to offline crop disease diagnostics and identification. So what they do is they take the app, either scan the crop or upload a picture of the app. It works offline to identify the disease, gives the disease information and steps to do. Then we have translations. Since most of the information comes in English, we translate it into our local languages, Ndebele and Shona. Then from there we offer access to our recommended shops so they can get pesticides and even expert agronomy service explanations.
What we do is the farmer is to buy from us the sensor box. if he buys from us this sensor box will help him to know the soil nutrients which are in the soil, which means it's going to measure for him the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are the basic soil nutrients, and also measure the humidity and the temperature of the soil. So after he gets the information, it's going to be transmitted to this box. It's called the gateway box, and it's going to transfer the information to the cloud or the internet, which helps the farmer to access the information from anywhere in the world.
Another stand that the heads of state visited was from Rwanda. Rwanda started its digital transformation in the early 2000s and has so far recorded progress, which has resulted in the country setting up infrastructure and institutions that are coordinating digital transformation programs.
We've seen data centers, different solutions and e-services that were provided for the benefit of the citizens, in the education, in the health, in the judiciary, and not forgetting about cybersecurity, digital skills, and digital literacy to make sure that all the citizens can actually use those services. What we've done in terms of digital services on the national portal, we have companies here which provide different solutions for logistics, for transportation, for citizen identification. We have a company that manufacture and operates drones, and different solutions for the public sector.
At the main event, the leaders pledged their commitments to turning Africa into a digitized economy. Addressing the summit, President Hakainde Hichilema urged African countries to set their ambitions high on the economic and social development front, as it is a reason that the digital agenda to make Africa a single digital market becomes relevant.
We must set our sights high in terms of our ambitions towards digital development on our continent. But I dare say that we must set our ambitions high on everything that we do as Africans, because we are lagging behind. So digital market development is one, and is a very important one, but we must also raise our ambitions on the economic social development front, because it's for this reason that the digital agenda to make Africa a single digital market becomes relevant, because it is the road, it is a platform, it is basically our daily bread upon which we must achieve accelerated economic and social development so we can create jobs for our youth.
President Hichilema said there is need for African countries to invest more in digitization as the value is immense.
We cannot avoid digitization in our households, in our businesses, in our economies, in our communities. So it is therefore something we must take as a given. But by taking it as a given doesn't mean we must pay lip service to it. We must invest even a lot more into it, because the value that we derive from it is immense. It's not even a debatable matter that if we want to grow production, which is what we should in many areas on our continents, so we can push through a step change in our economies, rather than gradual, but a step change, we need technology. We need digital platforms.
The head of state also emphasized on the need to use technology to harmonize laws that will allow trade to be digitized.
The trading platforms that will allow us to take food from surplus areas to deficit areas has to be digital. It cannot be the old ways of communicating to each other. It has to be the modern ways. We also need to share market information. Supply, yes. Where it's demanded, yes. But also the prices. What's the cost of this food? And then we can move the food to where it's needed efficiently without double handling. Let me move away from there very briefly. We need to also use digitization as a platform in our movements of goods and services. Border posts, border areas. A country like ours with 8+1 neighbors cannot afford to have inefficiencies in our logistics sector.
Host President Emmerson Mnangagwa noted that to realize the vision of transforming Africa through information and communication technologies, ICT, young African innovators need to deploy the continent's raw materials for the production of ICT-related hardware and softwares.
The modernization and industrialization of our great continent urgently requires the adoption of science, technology, and innovation. It has taken quite some time for Africa, when it became independent, to immediately promote science and technology. Partnerships are essential for Africa to leap forward and build capabilities in the science and technology. Equally, we must seamlessly integrate the frontier of science and technology with the unique needs and the strategic social-economic development goals of the continent and our respective jurisdictions. The numerous innovations and the startups by our talented, youthful population require the support not only of our governments, but also from the global capital. It is therefore pleasing that this summit has a broad array of participants from both the public and private sectors, extending beyond the African continent.
Other leaders who added their voices at the Transform Africa Summit in Zimbabwe were President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, the King of Eswatini, King Mswati III, and President of Malawi, Lazarus Chakwera.
We need to make the digital identities of individuals and businesses portable across borders while using technology to reduce barriers to trade. All of these items are within our power to achieve. Our continental institutions, led by the African Union Commission, are already at work. We just need to move faster with a sense of urgency.
We need appropriate technology to add value to our products in order to stop exporting them raw to external markets. In today's world, digital infrastructure and connectivity are vital to the success of business, government, and individuals. They are the backbone of the digital economy, which has become increasingly important in recent years.
When it comes to the socioeconomic development of Africa, the only way for us to catch up is to take a shortcut. And the only shortcut available to us now is technologies that allow us to go digital in every sector of our economy. Now, as to the question of how we take such a leapfrogging shortcut, the only way is for us to work hard on lifting the obstacles to digitization and to work together on connecting the whole continent digitally so that Africa becomes a single digital market.
At the end of business on the same day on 26th April 2023, President Hichilema returned back home in Zambia, knowing that for Zambia to reap the benefits of integration, there is need for the country to fully digitize its economy and harness technology fully.